CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday, October 29th. The city of Greater Sudbury must pay an accidental death and dismemberment benefit to the estate of a firefighter. He had work-related post-traumatic stress disorder that led to his suicide 3 years ago. Mike Frost was 40 at the time of his death in May 2022. He was laid to rest in a public funeral attended by dozens of first responders. When his estate was denied the benefit, the Sudbury Professional Firefighters Association appealed, arguing the city had an obligation to pay the benefit even if the insurer refused.
So the arbitrator determined that the post-traumatic stress disorder would be considered the actual accident that led ultimately to his passing. For the fire sector, this is a first that I'm aware of, that our legal team is aware of. So it does set a precedent across potentially Canada, but for sure in the fire sector about what is compensable and what are let's call it hazards that we understand go along with firefighting duties and its effect on mental health.
The benefit is calculated at twice the annual earnings of the employee, up to a maximum of $500,000. Our digital team has more on the story, and it can be found on our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. More sunshine on this Wednesday. Will these conditions hold until Halloween? For more, let's bring in CTV's Lindsay Alick, filling in for Rick Wyman.
Thanks, Tony. Your first weather brought to you by CAA. Become a member at getcaa.ca. I'm happy to say that we're going to have at least one more day of above seasonal temperatures and gorgeous sunshine. Now, when it comes to Halloween, we're definitely going to start to see those temperatures drop a bit, and there is a slight chance for some showers. So I will have more details on that coming up in just a bit. But for now, I'll send it back over to you, Tony.
Thanks, Lindsay. A tragic end in the search for a missing man in the Wanapitei River in Greater Sudbury. Police recovered the body of a 68-year-old last night. Police were first called to the waterway near Highway 537 and Astaire Road Monday afternoon. Investigators say two individuals were in a small aluminum boat near the rapids when the boat tipped, causing one of them to fall into the water. Members of the OPP search and recovery team located the body underwater near the rapids. A Sault Ste. Marie man, once believed to be a missing person, has now been identified as a murder suspect. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
52-year-old Scott Devlin is now wanted on a Canada-wide warrant for second-degree murder and indignity to a dead body. He's the suspect in a murder investigation that began on June 19th in an apartment building in the 700 block of Pine Street. Devlin was reported missing just 1 day prior. CTV News learned from neighbors that Devlin lived on the same floor as the 30-year-old victim. At the time, police wouldn't link the two incidents.
There has to be information that ties somebody to an investigation, and obviously that took quite some time, but like I mentioned, our investigators worked incredibly hard to find anything that they could to learn what took place that day in June, and recently discovered some information that ties 52-year-old Scott Devlin to that, and again, now wanted in connection with the homicide.
Devlin is described as 5 feet 10 inches tall with a thin build and blonde hair. The 52-year-old also has the tattoos Sinner and Saint on his forearms.
That might help trigger somebody's memory if they've seen some unique tattoos or markings that somebody may have when we release those details. So again, anybody has the information, anybody has seen Scott Devlin, please contact police immediately.
Scott Devlin was last seen on June 17th after taking a flight from Sault Ste. Marie to Toronto's Billy Bishop Airport. Police officials say that the murder suspect may still be somewhere in the Toronto area.
We've been in connection with our partner agencies in the Greater Toronto area, so we're hoping to spread the awareness as far as we can so that to help generate some more tips.
Anyone with information on Devlin's whereabouts can contact Sault Police or Crime Stoppers. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
North Bay Council is set to hear from the city's Integrity Commissioner tonight, a day after he ruled Mayor Peter Chirico violated the code of conduct while using a city-issued corporate credit card. CTV's Eric Tashner joins us now from City Hall with the latest.
After months of waiting for a report into Mayor Peter Chirico's expenses, an investigation that the mayor requested for, we now know that the Integrity Commissioner has ruled that Chirico violated the Code of Conduct with some of his spending. Integrity Commissioner Guy Giorno found that $5,500 out of the $17,200 Chirico reimbursed breached the Code of Conduct. The violations surround golf membership and season tickets for the North Bay Battalion, expenses he charged on the city credit card. The report found Chirico used the credit card for close to $3,200 for hockey season tickets in 2023 without providing evidence that he used them for city business, and $2,200 for golf expenditures in 2023 without flagging the costs as personal and offering to reimburse them. In addition, Chirico charged 3 personal meals worth $200 that he claimed were for city business, even though only family members were present. The bulk of the personal expenses, gas, car washes, and pet food, were made with Chirico intending to pay them back through his mileage allowance. The OPP and Inspector General of Policing are also currently investigating Chirico's actions. Giorno wrote that if the investigation concluded that criminal laws were broken, he would have halted his work and referred the matter to police. But he wrote he found no basis to do so. City Council can either choose to reprimand him or suspend his pay for up to 90 days, so it will be interesting to see whether any punitive action will be taken. Reporting from City Hall, Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
And Eric is going to be at City Hall tonight. We'll have more on this story at 11:30. Public health officials are warning of elevated levels of arsenic in drinking water north of Manitoulin Island. Public Health Sudbury District says water samples from the west section of House Lake show concentrations of arsenic above the provincial standard. The water should not be consumed or used for food preparation. Health officials say the area is near the abandoned McMillan gold mine, and the eastern part of House Lake is not impacted. It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Lindsay has your full weather forecast. But first, let's head to Gillies Lake in Timmins. This live webcam is courtesy of the city. It is 10 degrees. We are back in a few minutes.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Welcome back. Well, the question on many Northerners' minds is, what are we going to need to wear for trick-or-treating on Friday? Well, it looks like we could see a little bit of cooler temperatures, and there is the potential for a few sprinkles of showers and potentially some snowfall, but it's not going to be anything too significant. So you might just want to put a little extra layer under that Halloween costume. Taking a look outside right now, we are seeing a little bit of cloud cover across the northeast. We are going to continue to see those partly sunny skies throughout the day on Thursday before we start to see this system push into areas like North Bay. As you can see, we are going to start to see some impacts of Hurricane Melissa hitting areas of Ontario, Quebec, and especially out east. And as you can see, this system is going to change from rain into snow, and then in the pink area is that sleet Friday morning. And it looks like it's going to stick in the areas around Sudbury, North Bay, into Temiskaming Shores, areas like Sault Ste. Marie, seeing more of those shower activity. And we are going to start to see some unsettled conditions over the next 5 days. Let's take a closer look, beginning with Sudbury, Nickel Belt. As I mentioned, those skies clearing on Thursday, all the way up to a high of 8 degrees, but we're certainly going to see a dip in temperature overnight. As we head into Halloween, there's only a 30% chance of showers, so it doesn't look like it's going to be anything too significant, but we are going to be hovering around the freezing mark in those evening hours. Heading into Saturday, that's when those unsettled conditions take over, and it looks like we could see rainfall on and off for the next 7 days. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, sunshine for your Thursday, a high of 11 degrees, certainly above seasonal. As we head into Friday, again, a slight chance for some showers, nothing too significant, a high of 7 degrees. We could see some sleet move in on Saturday as we start to see that temperature drop. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, mainly sunny for your Thursday, a high of 10 degrees. Normally this time of year we're sitting around 5 degrees, so certainly above seasonal. As we head into Friday, the potential for some shower activity, but as I mentioned, likely going to be mostly cloudy for your Halloween, a high of 4 degrees. Could see some sleet move in on Saturday, a high of only 3 degrees. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, similar weather forecast here. Mainly sunny for your Thursday, a high of 8 degrees. Slight chance for some shower activity on Friday, a 4-degree high, and sitting at around that freezing mark as trick-or-treaters head out. And finally, North Bay, West Nipissing, mainly sunny skies for your Thursday, a high of 8 degrees. The slight chance for some showers on Friday, high of 6, and then dropping down to around that freezing mark just as those trick-or-treaters head out. That's a look at your 5-day forecast. Tony, it's back over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. A Superior Court judge has ruled that the legal team that secured a $10 billion settlement for First Nations under the Robinson-Huron Treaty Litigation Fund is entitled to $40 million in fees, not $510 million. The larger amount was based on a 5% contingency fee agreed to by the sides involved in the case. The Robinson-Huron Treaty Litigation Fund is a trust that represents 21 participating First Nations in Northern Ontario with about 40,000 beneficiaries. The treaty's annual payments for resource extraction were supposed to increase, but were frozen at $4 for almost 150 years. And we have more on this story on our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. An update now on the pool in Elliott Lake and where things stand with the facility. 2 weeks ago, insurance adjusters with the city, engineers and representatives involved with the pool's renewal met to investigate why a pump failure resulted in an amount of corrosive muriatic acid being released in the plant room. Pumps from the facility have been removed and taken to a lab for more testing. Council is waiting for a report on the extent of the damage.
We had this closed for a long time. We managed to get it open, and this is an accident. Well, we'll term it an accident until the investigation is completed. So we do ask for your patience. We're pushing as much as we can for this to get completed as quickly as possible. But, you know, dealing with insurance companies in the past, commercial is very different than personal. I hope this moves along quickly.
Meanwhile, councillors also got an update on the state of repairs at the Elliott Lake Arena. Council was told upgrades are going well, with foundation work scheduled to be completed by the end of the month. A final design package will be before council at the end of November, including an updated budget and schedule. A woman is anxiously awaiting news on family members who live in Jamaica. She operates a restaurant in downtown Sudbury and says the community has been supportive as she awaits word. CTV's Alan Everson reports.
Nikisha Simpson says she checks her phone regularly, but has not heard from family members in Clareton, Jamaica. Her father lives in a nursing home there.
We're kind of worried about that, just making sure that he's okay and supplies are able to reach them, the roads are not blocked off and so on. So that really is most of our worries, that they're able to get the necessary needs met in the time. This time is a tumultuous time for them.
Simpson's family home is there too, and she's awaiting word if it's still standing.
I guess the most worry would be probably the trees falling down. Because we live so high up on the mountain, flooding is not really what we're most worried about, maybe more landsliding.
Simpson opened Nikki's Jamaican Kitchen in April on Larch Street in Sudbury to share the tastes of her home country. She says customers have been asking about the impacts of the hurricane.
Everybody's come in, just kind of asked, you know, have you heard from your family? Everybody okay out there? So everybody's a little bit concerned. And Sudbury's, there's a lot of people here that travel to Jamaica for vacations and also have friends and family there as well. So it's a loved country.
Simpson says her anxiety level is high as she awaits word from loved ones. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
He is originally from Kirkland Lake. Coming up on CTV News at 5, we will meet the public address announcer for the Toronto Blue Jays at the Rogers Centre. From From the rinks of Northern Ontario to the roar of the Rogers Centre, a Kirkland Lake man holds one of the biggest jobs in Canadian sports. He is the PA announcer for every Toronto Blue Jays home game and is calling his first World Series. CTV's Amanda Hicks brings us his story.
So today, here we are in the audio control room.
Tim Langton's voice sets the tone for every Blue Jays game held in Toronto. He's been the team's public address announcer for the last 2 decades, but he didn't get his start under bright stadium lights. It all began in his hometown of Kirkland Lake.
I wound up being told of a job at CJKL, little radio station up in Kirkland Lake, and it was news, and I said, don't send anybody else, this is my job. And she told the news director at the time, and he liked that, so he hired me. And that's where it all started.
That experience led him to radio stations across the province before he eventually landed a job in the audio department in what was then called the Sky Dome. Langton still uses an old-fashioned scorecard to keep his eye on every play, and he describes the character he brings to the mic as big and loud to hype up the fans.
When I say Vladimir Guerrero when we're sitting here talking, but when I say it on the mic, it's Vladimir Guerrero. So there, there's a little bit of a difference there. And it's fun to do that, to be a little different and just to take it a little farther. So that's kind of where the character, it's brash, the character's brash, in your face, and a big fan.
Now, Langton is calling his first World Series, something he says is a privilege.
Game 1, I had butterflies like I haven't had since my very first game. It really hasn't landed yet. It still seems kind of surreal that here we are after all these years and coming close, and it's almost unbelievable still.
Langton is one of only 3 PA announcers in Blue Jays history. He attributes a majority of his success to his early beginnings in Kirkland Lake, demonstrating a big voice can come from a small town. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
He's a former radio personality turned author. When we return, we talk with Scott Overton of Sudbury. You're watching First at 5. A Northern author is releasing a new book this week. It's titled Zenith Aftermath. Scott Overton now joins us in studio. So nice to see you.
It's always good to see you, Tony. Thank you for inviting me here.
Tell us about the premise. What is this book all about?
Well, what happens is a group of VIPs are aboard a very hyper-fast underground train. Think Hyperloop, if anybody knows about that. And they're doing a promotional stunt to try to break a speed record. Something goes wrong, an event happens, they end up in a place or time where, first off, the train tunnel is dead. And then when they do get to the surface, there's just these uncanny forests and clearings and no people, no birds, no animals. Where or when are they? So they have to face this. And then, thinking of survival, eventually at some point a voice speaks to them from the air. So that's kind of where the premise goes.
So it's not God, it's some other voice.
It isn't. I can tell you it's not God. No. It is about disembodied digital intelligences. That's what I was trying to explore. Other, intelligences, consciousnesses without bodies, and how you would maybe interact with them, what it might be like to be one, what it might be like to become one. Because when we talk a lot about AI nowadays, of course. And it is possible that we are going to create artificial intelligences that could replace us. They won't have bodies. Who knows what form they will take. And there is also, on the other side of the coin, a lot of talk over the years about maybe humans uploading our consciousness into a digital form of some kind. So I try to explore a bunch of different varieties of that in this book.
You're talking about artificial intelligence. Yes, it's all the rage, replacing jobs. Do you think it also, as we creep closer to Halloween, we talk about Frankenstein and creating a monster. Is this monster that was also created?
Well, see, this is the thing, right? When we are creating an intelligence that is not our own, right now they're not thinking beings or anything like that. They're very, very sophisticated computer programs and algorithms. But if they do reach that goal of a thinking, self-aware consciousness that's digitally created or whatever. We have no idea what their motivations are going to be. Are they going to be on our side? Are they going to see us as competitors, as victims? Are they not going to care at all? Who knows? And we have no way to know. But you're right. I mean, the idea of us creating a consciousness unlike our own, but from our own creation, goes back to Frankenstein and probably a lot farther than that. You don't know whether that is going to turn on you or be helpful.
Are you still hitting farmers markets and those public events,
Yes.
showcasing your book, meeting readers where they are?
I do, I've only been at the Sudbury Market in Elm Place, downtown Sudbury, once a month or so in the last little while, but I will be there November 1st, this Saturday after we're doing this, and that will be the official launch of Zenith Aftermath. That'll be the first real time for many people meeting that book and getting a chance to get it.
Scott, so nice that you made the opportunity to come in. Always nice to see you. Take care.
Well, thank you for supporting local authors. You do so much, Tony, and it's appreciated.
I appreciate your time. And that was Scott Overton. He was our guest today. And to see more of our Northern Book Club, don't forget, head to our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Our first community close-up comes to us from the outskirts of Sault Ste. Marie. Denise Hunter sent us this picture. She says the maple leaf forever and the mighty oak. Thanks so much for sending this to us, Denise. We're heading to Conogamy near Kirkland Lake. Dogs are smart, right? Lorraine Chenier-Bellaire's pup says, no, not going in, Mom. The water is too cold. Thanks so much for this photograph, Lorraine. And to Sudbury, where this dog is all ready for Halloween, Hilary Moreau emailed us these pictures of Otto. She says he is the Tim Hortons dog from Sudbury. Thanks so much for these photographs, Hilary. And finally, City Center Collision Inc. in North Bay is holding a haunted Halloween house tomorrow and Friday. It's from 6 p.m. until 9 at 83 Gibson Street. Admission is a non-perishable food item or a monetary donation, and all the proceeds are going directly to the North Bay Food Bank. Organizers say it's fun for all ages. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.